Tell a little bit about where you're growing up. What was it like growing up? I know you're from Baltimore, my hometown. I got to
Yeah,
shout it out.
yeah.
Yeah, talk about that upbringing a little bit.
Yeah, I grew up in Baltimore. Basically, four brothers and sisters, and my mom. Early on, it was obviously my mom and my dad. With my parents, and how it ended up with just my mom and us is my dad was also a musician who thought he was going to do big things, had opportunities to do big things, had records out, and was doing performances and opportunity to do national tours. And my mom got pregnant, and he was not able to go on the road, and that ended up effectively ending his opportunity. Well, and not being able to do that thing, which he was very clear was the thing that he wanted to do, it made him a bitter person. And that played out in various ways that affected everybody else around him, i.e. his family life at home, because obviously he tried to do what he needed to do, went and got a job, opened a barber shop, but he had that passion that was not being, recognized. He had that thing that he wanted to do creatively. He knew he was a musician. He knew he was a singer, and he couldn't do it, and it made him bitter. And over time, he became, angry and confrontational, and that turned into a lot of problems at home in terms of him coming home and, having a couple of drinks and wanting to fight. And my mom was like, "We're not having that." And eventually, after one particular incident where he came home after a hard week and was probably stressed out about seeing his life living outside of his window, because where his barbershop was right across the street from the Royale Theater, which is where all the stars came through, the Cab Callaways and all those folks to perform. And he's looking like, that's supposed to be me. So if you can imagine knowing what you wanted to do, but you're having to do something just to pay the bills, and you're looking out your window at that life that you think is yours. So it made him, at the end of the week, he would have a couple beers, he'd come home, he'd be, wanting to fight. So we eventually just packed up and left, and we struggled until we got it, faked it until we made it, as you say. So it wasn't easy. It was a struggle through. We had it rough. Like we used to play Russian roulette with the utility bills. You get 4 bills, you can only pay 3. We would shuffle to see which ones would get paid. Is it the water? Is it the light? Is it, is it heat? So, it was a struggle. So for me, I always say my imagination was greater than my circumstance. So my circumstances would tell me there was no way I was getting out of this. It was poverty, it was drugs, it was, rough neighborhood and all that. But throughout that space, I could see a space way down the line. Didn't know how I was going to get there, but I'm like, this isn't, this is just where I am. This is not where I'm going to be. This is something I got to pass through to get to where I need to get to. So, luckily, the cards played themselves out, and I put in the work academically, et cetera, to get to college. And then after that, I was able to do, other things that I never thought would be possible.